Happy Friday. I hope that everyone has had a great week. If you're anything like me, it's been a crazy week. But God is still good. And I'm so thankful to be here with you guys tonight. On this Friday night, I hope that you have done something to take care of yourself, that you've enjoyed your spouse, or that you just enjoyed time with family. But after a long week, there is nothing wrong with having some time, to yourself, and just spending time with the people that you love. So tonight is day number 22 of the 25-day Wife Life Live experience. And tonight, our topic is the balance of cleaning your house and cleaning your heart. If this is your first time tuning in to the 25-day Wife Life Live experience, my name is Sharnetta J. Harrell, and I am a Wife Life resource and upcoming content creator. If you caught that hint, that's part of my announcement coming up on Monday. I am very excited to begin sharing with the world what the Lord has placed in my heart to do, and I cannot wait to launch this new project that I've been working on. My team has been working very hard, and I cannot wait to share it. Hi, Marty. Thank you so much for joining. I think this is your first time on the 25-day Wife Life Live experience. So I'm so glad that you are on here and that you are tuning in. So again, welcome. If this is your first time tuning in to the 25-day Wife Life Live experience. So from the past 22 days, I have been sharing some of my own personal experiences and empowering you to peel back your layers and do the same. On 9/25 at 9:25 p.m., I will be launching the big reveal of something that I've been working on for a while, and I cannot wait to share it with everyone. I just can't say it enough. And God has just really been sovereign, and he's just been great, and he's been good. Okay. So let's get right on into it. So tonight's topic is the balance of cleaning your house and cleaning your heart. So what really prompted me to kind of talk about this subject. A part of the 25-day Wife Life Live experience is for me to always share in transparency and to share, and what my own personal experiences are, right? And so what really prompted me to come up with this topic is because, let's just be real, I've had a long week and I'm tired. My husband and I are both tired. But guess what? My house is a mess, right? I came home today and, I was just like, how in the world did this get like this, right? How in the world are clothes everywhere? How in the world is, I have not swept like I should? How in the world are, the bathroom is a mess? Like, it is just so bad, right? And so tonight I was really kind of convicted. As I prepared to speak with you guys tonight, the Lord really convicted me about my heart. And so this is what really prompted me to talk about the balance of cleaning your house and cleaning your heart. So tonight, each night, if you have been tuning in to the videos, or if you've been watching me on Wake Up Wives, I always kind of leave you with a few strategies or a few techniques that will tie to the subject. So tonight, I am going to be leaving you with the ABCs, right? So I know I'm always doing like 3 strategies or 2 techniques or something like that. But tonight, I am going to be sharing with you the ABCs of cleaning your house and cleaning your heart and how to balance those things, right? So again, this is an open forum. If you would like to ask any questions, leave any comments, or just share some of your own personal experiences. I try to make it as transparent and bona fide as possible. And I try to be as transparent as possible. I'm in a t-shirt. I don't have on any makeup. Like, my hair is radical, and I'm just here. Right? I'm not trying to put on the front, this is just who I am. And because I want to empower you to be who you are, right? So let's get right on into it. So tonight, as we begin to talk about the ABCs of cleaning your heart and cleaning your house, right? Both of them are very hard, right? So with the ABCs, the first thing that we are going to talk about is acknowledge that the house is a mess, right? Acknowledge that the house is a mess. If you're anything like me, the whole week I've been minimizing that my house is a mess, right? The whole week I've been minimizing. I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. It's going to be okay, right? Oh, I'll get to it, right? Or you just don't even talk about it, right? You don't even talk about it, right? And so, what are the ways that, we can, when we talk about, when we talk about our ABCs, one of the ways that we can really begin to acknowledge how to clean our house and clean our heart is, applying that same, simile to our life, right? So when we think about how we don't acknowledge the mess in our house, or how we don't acknowledge, the clothes being dirty, or the bathroom being a mess, or, not even just physically, how our house is a mess, but how our house can be a mess spiritually, or how our house can be a mess, in our relationships, or how our house can be a mess just in general by us being a mess, right? And so how we can really look at that and peel back our layers is looking at it from a standpoint of acknowledging, in order for you to reach your core, you have to begin peeling back your layers and saying you have to acknowledge the mess, right? So the same way that we begin to acknowledge the mess in our house, and it just being, that our house, the cleanliness of our house has become it reached far below the standards of what we're used to. It's kind of the same way that we look at our heart, right? It's the same way that we look at our core, and it's the same way that we should begin peeling back our layers, right? When we begin to peel back our layers and reach our core, we discover that there are some things that we have not acknowledged, right? That are a mess, a hot mess, right? A hot mess, right? So that's A. A is acknowledge, right? Moving right along to B. B is be encouraged, okay? Be encouraged that other people's houses are messy as well, right? So understand that, regardless of how another couple may look, regardless of how another couple may act, right? There are moments where some people's houses are a mess, right? Everybody's house is not spick and span and organized and perfect and spotless, and it's just all together all the time. And then when you add kids in the mix, right, it's never going to be clean, right? But when we peel back our layers and reach the core of that, right? When we reach the core of that, let's look at our own lives as well. Some of us really have a distorted view of the life of other people, right? So we oftentimes look at other people or other women or other marriages or other singles or other women or whatever may have you. And, we might think that, or we forget that other people's houses internally are a mess as well. Okay, so understand that when we begin, just like our friends, right? And our friends, when we begin to talk with our friends and we check in with our friends and we're hanging out with our friends, and our girlfriends, our close girlfriends, right? We all are a mess, right? And that's why we love each other, because we can be transparent and we can talk about the seasons that we're going through in life, right? But when we don't do that, that is when it becomes a problem, right? That is when it becomes a problem. So just like, today, just like this week, right? This week was just crazy. It was multifacetedly crazy. I don't know if that's a word, but, it was just crazy. And so when I was not nourishing myself, when I was not nourishing, my temple spiritually, everything else began to fall into pieces, right? I began to rely on my own strength. I began to be physically tired. I was going to bed late. I was having a stomach issue, because I was eating late and I didn't meal prep as I should, which resulted in me, not eating healthy, right? So my house was a mess. So not only was my physical house a mess, right? Not only was my, clothes, my laundry basket overflowing in dirty clothes, and my bathroom smelling like the zoo, right? But also myself and who I was a mess. And my heart was a mess, right? So this week I was really, really tired. Taisha, welcome. Taisha said, I just logged on and you're already in my business. That is hilarious. You got to stay on, girl. You got to stay logged on. So Taisha and everybody else, if you're just joining, tonight we're talking about the balance of cleaning your house and cleaning your heart. And tonight we are talking about our ABCs, right? The ABCs of how we can begin to peel back our layers to get to our core in the area of balancing both, right? So A, if you missed it, was acknowledging the mess. B was being encouraged that others have, messy areas in their house and in their life. And so now we are moving to C, right? Now we are moving to C. Concern yourself with the inside and not merely the outside, right? Taisha is saying, girl, I need this. Let me get my notebook. Oh, God, that is hilarious. All right, Taisha, thank you for joining tonight. Okay, so C. I really want to take some time to focus on C, because I think out of all three, C is probably one of the most, important things. And so that is concerning ourselves with the inside of our house and not merely the outside, right? So if you're like me, my house can be a hot mess, but when people are coming over, when family are coming over, when friends are coming over, co-workers or whoever else have you, I go from being lazy, right, to not caring about my house, to cleaning up. I'm dusting, I'm mopping, I'm sweeping, I'm putting stuff up, I'm organizing stuff. Because I want my house to look good, right? Because I'm having company and I want other people to know that my house is clean, right? And so there's like there's this fire that ignites, when we have company come over, and we just immediately, want to put on this. Our house is like this all the time, right? And it's not. But the reality of it is, even when we look at our lives internally, right? When we look at ourselves, how many of us dress it up, right? How many of us dress it up? We put on our makeup, we put on hair, we looking fly, we looking good. Even if you don't wear makeup, right? You're looking good. You're going out. You're going to dinners. You're going with your coworkers. You're going with friends, and we just make it all look good. So it's just like our house. We are a mess. We are a mess in the inside, but on the outside, we want everybody to think that it is all together, right? So when we're talking about balancing cleaning your house and cleaning your heart, right? Both of them start from the inside, right? Both of them start from the inside. So for me, I can say that my house becomes a mess physically when I am not in tune spiritually, right? So as I was just sharing, when I am off spiritually and I am not being grounded and I am not in God's word as I should be, or I'm slacking, or I'm just having a rough time, or if I'm not taking care of myself as a woman, right? Everything else slacks. My house is a mess, right? And so even when I look at myself, if Sharnetta is not taking care of who she is as a woman in the inside, right? Everything else is going to be a mess. It's like a domino effect, right? So when we are looking at cleaning our house and cleaning our heart, it has to start from the inside, right? The inside. Taisha is saying that she's going to hire a cleaning lady. No, we are not, Taisha. We are going to make time to clean our house. No, but I have absolutely nothing against that at all. Nothing against. I've never hired a cleaning lady, but I don't have anything against that. So, I really want to empower you ladies like that. This is an internal thing, right? It is an internal thing. And I really want you to peel back your layers on this. Growing up, ask yourself this tonight. This is your homework for tonight. So tonight, I want you to ask yourselves, growing up, what were some of the ways that, your mother, your father, your grandmother, how did you grow up seeing people, your parents clean their house, right? So if you're anything like me, my mom, the house would, be a mess. But when people came over, she would break her neck to ensure that the house was spick and span, right? She probably had the, Genesis book of records for the fastest to clean a house, right? But that spilled over into my marriage, right? It spilled over into the very essence of who I was. Even when I was single and I lived on my own, I would, when I had friends to come over and my house would be a mess because it was just me, but I would just immediately clean up and act like, that's what it was. And so please hear me. I'm not saying that we shouldn't clean our house. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that we should be cognizant of our motives and our intentions for doing so. So Taisha is saying that Christ is clean. Yes, girl, it's real. That Christ is clean is real. I'm telling you. I think I probably can clean my whole house in 30 minutes, if that. Okay. So really one of the things that, so your homework is peeling back your layers to see your childhood experiences. How did your mother clean her house, right? How did your mother clean her heart on a daily basis? What did that look like? What did that look like for you, right? If you weren't raised by your mother, your father, your grandmother, your aunt, your uncle, a friend, anybody, what did that look like for you? And how does it ultimately affect your marriage? What does that look like? Even if you didn't have a negative experience, a positive experience, I really want you to look at how both of them correlate. This is your childhood experience. This is your marriage, right? How does it correlate? This is your childhood experience, right? This is your child experience over here, right? And this is your current life. So Marty is saying, my mom had a cleaning lady. Okay. So Taisha and Marty, kind of have some similarities going on with the cleaning lady, right? Marty, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? Of your mom having a cleaning lady, right? But look at your current situation in your current life and say, how did my mom's decisions of having a cleaning lady ultimately affect how I clean my house, right? So what does that mean, right? So what does that mean for you? Does that mean that, you want to hire a cleaning lady because that was what you grew up, with, right? But also, Taisha Taisha saying, I drive an hour one way to and from work. I need to buy back my time. Yes, girl, reclaim your time, right? And this also goes back to discipline, and it also goes back to roles in your household. Ladies, I'm telling you, if you have to establish roles in your house, I'm not talking about establishing gender roles. I'm talking about establishing expectations in your house, right? So I always tell people, in my house, my husband and I are a team. If I am washing, you are folding. If I am cooking, you're washing dishes, right? If I make the bed, you straighten up something else, right? If I'm cleaning the bathroom, you do this. If you mow the grass, like I make lemonade, right? It's a teamwork. It's teamwork. So you have to be able to understand, what does your expectations in your house look like, right? You have to ask yourself, what does your spouse expect you to do? And what do you ultimately expect your spouse to do, right? Because then that's how arguments start. Arguments begin to start when, we're like, well, you sitting on the TV and I'm sitting up here taking care of the kids, cleaning the house, cooking dinner, ironing the clothes, doing this, doing that, right? Then you become frustrated. You become frustrated because you feel like you're expected to do all these things, right? And he expects you to do those things. So we have to have honest conversations about what expectations look like in our house, okay? And also understand, when it comes to your spouse, different things affect your spouse's expectations of you, right? It could be cultural. Your husband could have grown up in a certain culture. It could be, anything. It could be socioeconomic, right? If your husband grew up with a single parent, the way that he might view expectations in his house might be different, right? It could be fine. It could be, emotionally, what did that look like in his house growing up, right? Let's be real about this. And we have to have real conversations. When my husband and I first got married, we argued all the time and disagreed all the time about gender roles, right? Gender roles and expectations, because both of us were not being open and honest about what our childhood experiences looked like, and why were the reasons that we believed in certain things, right? What did that look like? So Taisha is saying we grew up completely different, so that really affects us. Yes, hello, been there, wore the t-shirt, brought it back to Walmart, put it back on the rack, and gave it to somebody else. Okay, so so I'm totally here with you. So, just to be transparent, because this is the 25-day Wife Life Live experience, right? My husband grew up in a very kind of Cosby Show lifestyle. His parents have been together for over 40 years. He has siblings. He just grew up in this very family-oriented household. For me, I grew up with a single mom. I grew up, my mom has been divorced a couple of times, and my mom was very much an alpha female. My mom was very much like, I don't need a man to do anything, like I can hold my own. And so, for me, when we got married, like I needed, like we would clash, because for me, I was like, oh no, like I'm not about to be around here sweeping and, saying yes, master. Like we ain't doing that, right? And so my husband, on the other hand, would, honestly, like he didn't understand, right? And so we had to seek out wise counsel, because although expectations in the household and household duties are, minute to a certain degree in marriage, right? It's also very pivotal, because a lot of disagreements and, arguments are rooted because of how we, experience life as a child and how it ultimately affects how we maneuver in our household. So Taisha is saying, you're telling my life. Taisha, I'm telling your life. Oh gosh. So yes, and this is, yes, Taisha says my husband has both parents and two siblings, and I grew up with my single alpha mother by myself. Yes, hello, there, right there. And Taisha, just to empower you, I had to really peel back my layers. I had to get to the core of my dysfunction, right? And I had to say, Lord, why? Lord, I need you to deal with me on this thing, right? I need you to deal with me, because why? I would feel like less of a woman, right? I would feel like, I didn't know if I could do this whole submission thing, right? I would feel like less than. I would feel like I was dying to myself. I was feeling like, I was just losing myself. And that's not what I saw growing up. So being that I married my husband, I was like, oh God, what have I gotten myself into? Like, I don't know if I can be this picture perfect housewife, wife that's, keeping it all together in the house, while my husband is, chilling, right? No, we have to have real conversations. Like, I had to let him know, like, hey, this is how I grew up, man. Like, this is how I grew up, and this is how you grew up. And because we couldn't really get it together on our own, we had to seek out our marriage counselors. Not that anything was so terribly wrong, but there was some things, right? There was some things that we had to really have some additional mediation about, right? And they were able to give us biblical counsel on what that looked like. What did that look like? And yes, and what I had to discover in myself was that marriage is dying to self. Marriage is dying to self. I'm telling you, marriage will show you your sin. Marriage will show you your sin, right? And I had to understand that my identity is never in being a wife. It's never in being a social worker. It's never in being a friend. It's not in all these things. My identity is in Christ. So that means whatever I do in my house, right, and in my heart, I have to glorify God. If God ain't getting glorified out of it, then I ain't doing something right. Right? I ain't just doing something right. Right? But the beauty in Christ is there's no condemnation. So that means that, we live by grace and mercy. Come on. So Taisha, really peel back your layers, girl. And for all the other women who are watching, peel back those layers. What is it that is going on in my house that is a illustration of what I've seen growing up that causes my husband and I to create friction? Right? Have that conversation tonight. Taisha is saying, I've asked myself that a bazillion times. Yes, sis. And you have to keep asking. So the issue is, stop asking yourself and start asking God, right? Because if you keep asking Taisha ain't gonna know the answer. Right? So Taisha needs to go before the Lord and say, Lord, look, I tried to figure this thing out. Lord, I need you to come in my heart, and I need you to come in my house, and I need you to clean these things out. Right? I need you to clean these things out. Right? Yes. Taisha. Oh, God. So, the ABCs for tonight, ladies, were A, was acknowledge that the house is a mess. So I talked a little bit about the correlation between your physical house, acknowledging that your physical house is a mess, and that your personal house is in your temple and yourself is a mess. B, I talked about being encouraged that others have messy houses, right? So being encouraged that just because the house is a mess doesn't mean that you have to have all of this anxiety, right? Because there are other people who have, messy houses. And also being encouraged that, women carry around mess, right? And don't talk about it. Just because it looks pretty doesn't mean that there's not mess beneath the core, right? And C, was concerning yourself with the inside and not merely the outside. So we talked about the importance of making sure that, you are being fulfilled spiritually so that, everything else will fall into place. Okay. So ladies, I hope that tonight you are empowered. I hope that tonight you are empowered. I cannot believe I have been live. This is day 22, right? This has gone by very, very fast. Monday it will be day 25. And I cannot wait to share with you guys, everything. And I'm so, so excited to really begin taking empowering women to a whole nother level. Taisha, you are so sweet. I appreciate you, girl. I appreciate you. So, as always, if you are not following me on Instagram, you can head over to Instagram. You can follow me at Sharnetta J. Harrell there. There in my bio, you will find the link tree. There are multiple links that you can, find my blog. You can find my Facebook and Twitter. And you can also find, of course, the 25-day Wife Life Live experience on my YouTube channel, as well as previous segments of Wake Up Wives. I cannot wait to share some new things that the Lord has given me about videos in my video series. And so I am signing off for tonight. I cannot promise you what time I will be on tomorrow, but I can promise you that I'll be right here for you. Okay? I am Sharnetta J. Harrell. I am signing off. I am your favorite Wife Life resource, and I am empowering you to peel back your layers one day at a time. Have a good night.